Host of the Ike Wingate Show, Ike Wingate, along with Democratic strategist Jenna Arnold. Good afternoon to you both. Ike, I want to start with you. We now learn that the DOJ is opening up an investigation into Brennan and Comey. What do you make of that?
I think it's just about time, maybe a little bit late, but certainly it's time, because we know, based on the Durham report, that Jim Comey and John Brennan were in the White House with President Obama, Vice President Biden, specifically talking about this Steele dossier. They had a name for it. They called it the Clinton Plan. They knew all along this was being paid for by the Clinton campaign, yet Jim Comey continued to authorize FISA warrants without probable cause to spy on the Trump campaign over and over. So there's no mystery here. These guys were involved in using our government, our Department of Justice, to spy on Trump's campaign. And it is time for accountability, without a doubt. And I hope it's coming. And I hope we actually do see some literal jail sentences come out of this.
Yeah, more than an investigation, but some prosecutions as well. Jenna, what is your take to this breaking news?
Thanks so much for having me. Hi, Ike. Hi, Kelly. This is a tough one for me. I am a firm believer in making sure that we hold up the magnifying glass to all of the processes and all of the systems, primarily so that we can maintain what I believe is our shared values around justice and around holding, in some cases, complex truths. My fear for this, Ike and Kelly, is that it will turn into a politicized headline when we have so many examples over the past, not just 6 months, the last administration or any administration before that, where the justice process becomes politicized. And it doesn't necessarily feel like there's some focus on the larger common good beyond it. And I feel like this might be one of those examples where the process itself gets weaponized. And my fear with this in particular is that because it's one of those backdated subjects, and I hate to sort of flippantly say, like, but her emails or Hunter's laptop, that there's these like sound bites, these moments, these chapters in history that turn into reality television shows for the sake of politics versus just being very protective over transparency and our collective value over what we're doing in the best interest of the American public.
Yeah, I think that the probe is trying to get rid of the politicization within the DOJ that clearly was weaponized against President Trump's run in 2016. But moving on, other news today on Capitol Hill, Joe Biden's physician, Kevin O'Connor, was on Capitol Hill. He showed up. However, he pled the fifth to basically every single question Comer's committee asked him, including, were you asked to lie about President Biden's mental decline? Why wouldn't he answer this question unless he was asked to lie?
That is the million-dollar question. It's hard to grasp any logical, truthful explanation when you plead the fifth to avoid talking about the 25th. And you could say as a doctor, well, I didn't want to disclose things that would violate HIPAA. Well, you could answer a lot of questions without violating HIPAA. This was a matter of national security. This was a matter of continued lies that we were told from the media, from inside the Biden administration. I mean, we know, based on even a recent book that's coming out this week, that Biden was not, under the cover of COVID, allowed to meet with people. In fact, he didn't meet with his pollsters for years, which I've wondered the entire time. When Biden went out and said the economy was doing great and he was doing great in the polls, despite what reality said, did he actually even know what was going on? Were they feeding him pretend information? The administration absolutely used COVID as the mechanism to cover all of this up. And when you have a doctor who's not even willing to ask questions and he's pleading the fifth, the optics alone look horrible, just like a preemptive pardon for General Milley and Dr. Fauci. This smells of corruption. This is not something that shows transparency and a willingness to expose the truth.
All right, Ike Wingate, Jenna Arnold, thank you both for stopping by.
Thanks, Kelly.
There's much more to come on National Desk. Keep it right